Hey everyone, so it's been a bit since the newsletter came out, and now that I've had time to get my thoughts together and process everything I saw, I think that it would be a good idea to share my insight in all of this with you. Also, before I start, I have to plug that I will be streaming Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 on June 4th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, unless my plans change. I don't know, that's what I'm aiming for so far. Anyways, I'm going to be skipping this video for now since I honestly just don't feel I have much to say on it that hasn't already been said. So we got music here. I believe it's dial tone every time you click it, unlike the other thing, which I think had a number of different possibilities, like Spamton's theme, Spamton's other theme, Spamton's third theme, Queen's, Pandora Palace. Yep, what I expected. The wording on this makes it sound like the 28,000 is larger than the 58,000, which makes sense because if this was used in the actual sweepstakes, then this number would be larger. Unfortunately, there is no funny Spamton text for any of this. You don't get to hear him talk about his massive ass, which is a real shame. I really wanted to hear more about that. Anyway, so this little purple box leads to Deltarune.com/code, which I believe is one of the Noel pages. So we'll go there in a bit. Anyways, the what's next thing. It leads you to the green room. We all know the green room, right? It's got the cool sounding version of Hip Shop, even though Hip Shop itself was already a really good soundtrack. So anyways, if you're just going by here, you might notice that this area is now clickable. And suddenly we get a pretty drastic shift in tone. So, no one will shed a tear for him. At first, I thought this was referring to Spamton because I got here from the silence ending stuff. But now I'm thinking it could be referring to Birdley because this could be something to do with the weird route. Now, here's my theory. First of all, when you click on this and can press Control A, that box, I failed to click on it, unfortunately, but if you do click on it, I believe the text here changes to, "You'll never defeat us, let's rumble." Got a bit to say on that later. Anyways, if only you had your luck might have gone another way. No crystal. So, what do I think of this? So, obviously the first thing I thought of is it's referring to the Shadow Mantle, because, Sham says some stuff about the Shadow Mantle being needed to survive the next secret boss encounter. Seems pretty straightforward. However, I have another idea. You see, little known fact, the word Shadow Mantle is bigger than Crystal, and Crystal bigger than this. So, it can't really fit Shadow Mantle in there unless we just don't care about scaling. Now, I think it could be referring to, and I've also heard a few other people say it could be referring to, is Egg. About the stuff about no one would shed a tear for him, and this having to do something with the weird route, maybe. I think that because you can't get the egg on the weird route, the egg might be important to getting the Shadow Mantle in some way, and therefore, no egg, no crystal. Or it could be referring to eggs, like you need a certain amount of them, and since you can get the Chapter 1 egg, but not the Chapter 2 egg in the weird route, no eggs, no crystal. I do feel like the word eggs would fit this text, like the size here, better than just the word egg. Anyways, more to explore here. This is kind of the end of the chain. So before I go on to the code, there's also, just one last thing. The "You'll never defeat us, let's rumble." I think that has, two possibilities that interest me. First of all, there's, I believe, both that sound effect and that line of text, the Let's Rumble line of text, not the Shed a Tear or No Crystal. I believe that both of those are from Zelda, or in the sound effects case, it might simply be evocative of Zelda games, which could lend some credibility to the idea that the secret boss is the knockoff game controller. Now, what I'm personally more interested in is us, two people, Shadow Crystal, friend inside me. Look, I'm just saying it could be a thing. Now, that being said, I don't think that the Friend Inside Me track will actually play in game, because it seems a bit iffy on the copyright side of things. And I'm not sure Toby would want to get sued by Disney or Pixar, since I believe Pixar made Toy Story before being acquired by Disney. Anyways, Purple Box. I think that this is here for a specific reason, as we'll soon see. Ah, yes, here we are. 40 pages. Before that number was 26, so that essentially means that another 14 pages have been added, unless you don't know basic math. And then, I don't know, maybe pi? We got pi pages. So, I believe this clues link did not exist before. That's right, there are new links in this. Everything else here, comments, this music. Wasn't this, like, used in a Friend Inside Me fan song track? I swear, I could just be losing my marbles. Spamton Sweepstakes has that effect on me. Also, like, the music here sounds like a car alarm. Noel gets hit by a car, theory real? Anyways, egg. Now this, we've already seen, I think. Maybe the link did exist before, I'm not sure. But, important thing, this link definitely didn't exist before. We get led to deltarune.com/rain. So, I believe this is told from this perspective of Noel holiday. Everyone's heard of snow days, but did anyone else ever have rain days? I swear, one day it was pouring so hard that it sounded like someone was jumping on the roof of the house. So my mom called school and made them cancel just so I wouldn't have to walk over. Like, come on, Mom, a little water never hurt anyone, except for maybe deep-sea cave divers XD, sorry. At least because of that, my friend could come over without an umbrella. Why? She was totally soaked, so we had to use like 3 of my mom's hair dryers on full blast for like 30 minutes. At least we got to use the dryer to make melted cheese crackers. Anyways, on days where it rains, nothing was better than playing cat petters, specifically the mini-games you can play with cats. They were all ridiculous, and every one of them had these super silly-rific names like Jongler or something. What does it mean? I remember being really into one of the games when I was little. I can't remember the name because it was complete nonsense, sorry, but it was the one that was like an endless cave, if that makes sense. I even made a guide to the rarities of the different cats you could get to raise your score. I still have the text file, although it's just named b.txt. Really helpful, me. Chances, 80% normal, 50% blue aura, 4% rock and roll, 0% angle wing, quintuple 0%, super holy angle 1E wing. Young Noel is very good at math, just very good. I sort of feel like there were more, though. Like, one time I remember getting a cat, and it actually lowered how many points I had. And then, of course, I died immediately, so I couldn't get a picture or anything. Of course, no one else has ever seemed to see this. Actually, I get the feeling someone else I know has seen this, but I know that even if I asked them, I probably wouldn't get a straight answer. Super fun fact, on a related note, the same games even make a cameo in Cat Petters the RPG, which, like everything good, is kind of a ripoff of Dragon Blazers, if I'm being honest. Okie dokie, let my bias show for a second there. You guys should really play it, though. As usual, if everyone thinks they can find proof, try it yourself. And let me know. By the way, about my friend, she came over because I said I was going to play Cat Petters, but she thought that just meant I was going to pet her. Catty X Susie? Catty X Noel? Oh no, that's a completely different direction. What kind of game would that even be? So I made a cat named after her in the game and made it play metal music on the music box. I'll try not to corrupt that one. I still had to pet her a little or she wouldn't go home. Alright, so something I don't think I've heard anyone else cover. Cat Petters the RPG. I believe this is like under Azriel's or Chris's bed in the bedroom. And I also believe it belongs to Caddy with a Y and Caddy with an I. So, you know, that's interesting. Now, considering that we have that special room with the cat minigame, you know, with the yellow and pink balls of yarn coming at you, could land some credit to that being inspired by Cat Petters. And considering that these games make a cameo in Cat Petters, we could actually be able to play the Rare Cats game in Deltarune. And as for the pink and yellow stuff, well, I'll get to that. Anyways, it looks like it saved my points from last time, so I was just at 60. So, in case you haven't heard, you stay here long enough, click enough cats, the friend that is inside me shows up. I'm not going to try to get that, I'm just going to try to get that super holy angle wing, or at the very least angle wing. Now, oh, got it. Now then, see, with the friend image that's used in the Rare Cats game being labeled as Cat 9, and the balls of yarn that attack you, they're not clarified to be balls of yarn, but that's what they look like, and they fit the cat theme. Considering the balls of yarn are pink and yellow, the chances that friend is cat, pretty high. I mean, that was just like a minor headcanon theory from 2 years ago, and now it's making a major resurgence. Anyways, aren't you forgetting something? The same message, in all caps, is in the Damn Utena section of the Sweepstakes page. And of course, we have plenty of windows, which lead to various places. Some of these don't really make much sense. Others, like Grow Where the Lost Forest Would, sound more like suggestions. But, you know, they're all scrambled. Now, something I didn't actually know until earlier today, I believe the one that leads to the right link actually looks different than the other ones. But I can't remember what it looks like. I just know it's different. I believe it's the circular thing that's different. I think it might be in this area. I'm just going to see if I can find it before having to just type it in the search bar. Oh wait, this is... Oh yeah, how did I miss that? That's extremely obvious. Yeah, it's shaped, you know, a bit more like an egg, which could be important, you know, eggs, trees and eggs. Anyways, so this thing, it's the same as Jockington Grows the Beard and Depths. The Depths one probably has more lore importance, but who knows, maybe Jockington Growing a Beard, excuse me, is the final boss. Anyways, roots. Are the roots digital? I don't know. I believe that the first 3 times you click on it, it makes a little note, and then the next time, you're in window. Legally distinct from windows. And now this is just a mess of random letters. Now, can I find the one now that I know what it looks like? Or is it different? Again. I mean, it was pretty obvious before, and yet I was still able to miss it. I could be staring at it right in the face right now. I keep hallucinating, thinking that one's different than the other. But alas, 'tis nothing. Oh, wait. Got it. And now, we're in therapy, which is exactly what I needed after being in Spamton Sweepstakes for half an hour. So, it's a little drawing website. The poor children linking to therapy, seems like it means something. Seems like it means that the poor children are in therapy. My guess as to who the poor children are Chris and Noelle. They're younger than their older siblings, so they'd be more likely to be called children. And, considering that... Oh, wow, am I already getting it? No, just weird angle. So yeah, filling this in gets the egg tree, like the real egg tree this time. Anyways, having your older sister go missing seems like a pretty good cause to have to go to therapy, especially if it's at a young age. We don't know much. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist. Don't quote me on this. That's just my shard of a theory. Anyways, this links back to egg. Anyways, now, can I get back to the sweepstakes page without other stuff? Oh, I can just do this. Alright. Anyways, we're here. The actual sweepstakes. Thank God. Spamton's ass. Okay, so, the what's next. This actually used to be Take Me Back Home, Please, which would take you back home to just normal Deltarune.com. Also, as we can see, this also links to code, and it's the purple box outline, but it's actually got stuff in it this time. All of this feels very Web 1.0 to me. Not entirely. It still has UI that's meant to be easily navigated. But, some of the stuff like this and the... Where did the dancing baby go? Where's the dancing Spamton baby? Where is this link? I cannot remember clicking on this. Oh, it's this. Okay. Anyways, this links to something else. Deltarune.com/chapter3. Not applicable. Now, when I first saw this, my first thought was, oh, okay, it hasn't come out yet. Let me try other chapters. That makes sense. Chapter 2 is applicable because it's come out. What about Chapter 1? Now, what can you do in Chapter 2 that you can't do in Chapter 1, and you makes sense for you to not be able to do in Chapter 3? That's right, it's the weird route. This is probably an example of the weird route being acknowledged. However, something interesting is if we go back to Chapter 3 and hold left. First time I did this, I heard about holding left, and I was doing it for like a minute wondering why nothing was happening, and then I realized I was holding right. I am a genius. Anyways, not applicable, but I don't know. Chapter 3 weird route? It could be. Anyways, moving on to Chapter 4. There's nothing here at first, even if we Control A. But then slowly a red dot begins to appear, and also if we press Control A, the highlight also gets brighter, I think. This was really hard to see the first time because I had a bunch of other little spots on my computer that showed up very easily against the black background. Obviously you can't see it because it's not your computer, but there's another pretty similar looking spot right here. Anyways, Chapter 4 message. Looks the same. There's even the red dot that links back to Chapter 4 message. However, Control A, we've got a bunch of stuff. And I believe all of this is arranged in the shape of a keyboard. Now, when I first found this, I didn't think to use Control A, so I just hovered my mouse around random spots until I saw stuff that linked places. In short, I don't fully understand it, but the letters that are, like, let's see, this would be Q, this would be W, E, R. Okay, so the ones that are M.mp3 are, like, supposed to be clicked, and the ones that are E.mp3 are not supposed to be clicked, and I believe it spells out thank you, which doesn't redirect you anywhere. It's just that it gives you the incentive to go to thank you. How long did it take her to smile? You know, could be referring to something. It is referring to something, we just don't know what. I don't know why I'm being cryptic. Thank you. I don't believe there's anything else here, but when it first came out, there were 2 boxes, and if you input, like, your email in one and the answer to this question, it would email you back. Either it got shut down after enough time passed, or got shut down because someone gave the right answer. Do we have any way of knowing what the right answer is? I don't know. For all we know, the person who gave the right answer could have just decided to take a 1-year internet hiatus soon after getting that email. Soon before getting that email, and now we'll never know. But is it that important? After all, Toby did say some stuff about how no lore. I can't remember the exact quote. I mean, obviously I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, he said something about how all lore that you needed, you could get in-game, and, you know, we're just seeing this because it's on here instead of in the game because it's early. So hopefully we will get an answer to this question. Anyways, we still haven't tried out Chapter 5. We're led here. I don't know, I really like the look of this. It just looks creepy and liminal in a good way. Like, I kind of perceive these numbers as being closer and farther away from you, rather than just being bigger and larger. I don't know, it's extremely minimalist, but I am a huge fan. Anyways, as you just saw, if you highlight it, you can also see that Chapter 3 is here, and Chapter 1 is here, although it cannot be clicked. This probably has something to do with the weird route. You know, weird route in Chapter 2, and that it's not in Chapter 1. Now, this, like, reads like an XY axis diagram to me or something. Like, whether it's white or black is, like, either, like, maybe whether the weird route involves Noelle or not. So, like, Chapter 1 weird route, oh yeah, and the size would probably be, like, how prevalent it is. Like, weird route doesn't exist at all. Closest you can get is attacking every enemy you come across, which does nothing. I mean, you even get pardoned by Lancer. So, yeah, there's nothing really. Chapter 2, you know, you kind of kill someone. That's kind of a major thing to do. Something you might not actually know. If you kill people, you can get sent to jail. So it's not just something you can do, it's something you shouldn't do. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyways, so I guess by my logic, I don't know, I've heard a lot of different explanations for this. Chapter 3's weird route could not involve Noelle, but also be pretty big nonetheless. Chapter 4, not as big, but by my logic, both of these would involve Noelle. And Chapter 5's weird route is bigger than Chapter 4. Also, we can't get to Chapter 6 and 7, they just give the dog check. It is interesting that we're allowed to see Chapter 5, but, you know, the page does have a pretty different vibe than Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Although Chapter 4 also does, but as I said, I really like the creepy liminal aesthetic here. Just put some numbers on a black screen and I'll be satisfied and creeped out at the same time. Anyways, enough stalling. Chapter 2. That's right, it's everyone's favorite Toby Fox song, Mary CD from Omori. In all seriousness, though, pretty interesting. This is kind of a major thing that gives credit to the idea that these numbers represent the weird route, and it's also cool to listen to. It might be just a simple loop of the first few seconds of a real Toby Fox song, but I still like it. It is more ambience than song, though. Anyways, chapter 3. Same link as... Not same link. Same audio as the No Crystal dialogue. Again, this does give credit to the idea that you won't be able to get the crystal on the weird route, if this has something to do with the weird route. Chapter 4. This just leads you back to chapter 4. And chapter 5. It is, I believe, a town called Hometown. First little bit played on a guitar, which, you know, guitar. What's my search history for this? Ah, that's it. Don't worry, I have nothing to hide here. Anyways, guitar. This is also guitar. Something to do with death, perhaps. I think I'll just end it here. That's about everything I had to cover, and I really like findher.ogg. It brings tears to my eyes. Literally. A kind of an awkward place to end it, but I don't know. Make sure to like and subscribe, and not bawl your eyes out over this theme song. Bye!